Have you ever felt different, even as a child? Did you often sit alone in a room full of people, feeling emotions you couldn't name, sensing things no one talked about? Maybe it's time you finally understand. You were never ordinary. You were born chosen. Let's go back to the beginning. Chapter 1. The lonely child with a crowded soul. Most chosen ones begin life misunderstood. As a child, you might have preferred silence over noise, solitude over crowds. You weren't shy, no, you were just connected to something deeper. You noticed patterns in people, sensed their pain before they said a word. You may have watched the rain and felt comforted, stared at the stars and felt like you belonged somewhere else. No one taught you these feelings. They were born in you. And those early years, filled with invisible battles, were your first initiation. Chapter 2. The pain you carried was never. Do you remember crying without a reason, feeling heaviness in your chest, like a sadness that didn't belong to you? That was your gift, already working. Chosen ones absorb emotions like a sponge. From an early age, you became the healer in a hurting world, but without understanding. You suffered. You were labeled too sensitive and too emotional or too different. Yet the truth was, you were born with the heart of a light worker, a soul so radiant, it felt the darkness around it too deeply. Chapter 3. The outsider, who saw everything in school, at home, among friends. You were always there, but never quite part of it. You played along, smiled when you had to, but deep inside, something felt off. You saw through lies before they were spoken. You spotted manipulation while others clapped for the wrong people. You didn't know it then, but your soul had ancient sight, and because you didn't conform, others rejected you. But it was never your job to fit in. It was your calling to stand out. Chapter 4. Dreams that spoke to you. Were your dreams more vivid than others? Did you meet people you didn't know, travel to places you've never seen? As a child, your spirit often left the physical realm to receive guidance, healing, and truth. Many chosen ones have dreams that come true. Prophetic visions, warnings, messages. You may have woken up feeling tired because you were working in the spiritual realm while the world slept. That wasn't imagination. It was divine training. You were being prepared long before you understood. Chapter 5. Animals, nature, and unseen beings. Children born with spiritual light often have strong bonds with nature. Birds followed you, dogs stared at you, trees felt like friends. There were moments you felt the wind speak, the moon blink, the earth breathe. You were never alone. Spiritual beings often accompany chosen ones in childhood to guide and protect. Maybe you had an imaginary friend. Maybe you saw shadows. Others didn't. You weren't hallucinating. You were aware. Because you were meant to see what others ignore. Chapter 6. Sickness, pain, and energy. Shifts as a chosen child. You may have experienced unexplained illnesses, sudden fevers, chronic fatigue, body pains doctors couldn't explain. Why? Because your body was adjusting to carry high-frequency light in a dense world. Many chosen ones go through spiritual upgrades through physical symptoms. And as children, these were early signs that your vessel was transforming. You weren't broken. You were being rebuilt. Chapter 7. Teachers, mentors, and unexpected guides. Have you noticed that even as a child, certain people treated you differently? Older people confided in you, strangers looked at you with recognition, mentors appeared when you needed help most. This is no coincidence. Chosen ones attract soul contracts, spiritual agreements made before birth. You met guides in disguise, sometimes in the form of a teacher, a neighbor, or even a stranger who spoke one sentence that changed your path. These moments were orchestrated to shape your journey because your soul had a mission, and the universe always provides for those with divine purpose. Chapter 8. The Pain of Being Misunderstood. One of the hardest parts of childhood for a chosen one is not being seen. You may have tried to explain what you felt, only to be laughed at. You were accused of being dramatic, told to grow up. You began to shrink, to silence your truth, but the pain never left. It stayed hidden beneath your skin, like a sleeping volcano, and one day it erupted. That eruption was your awakening, a return to the truth of who you are. You are here to feel deeply, see clearly, and love fiercely, even if others never understood your beginning. It shaped your sacred path. Chapter 9. The Warrior's Soul. Despite all the pain, you never gave up. You carried wounds others never saw. You endured storms no one else noticed, and still you loved. Still you hoped, still you rose. That is the sign of a chosen one, because your soul didn't come here to live an easy life. It came here to awaken, to heal, to guide, and to lead. Chapter 10. You are remembering now. Now that you're older, maybe you've started to feel the pull. You're remembering the child you used to be, the one who saw angels in the clouds, who felt peace in silence, who cried for others without knowing why. That child is still inside you, and she has something to say. You were never too sensitive. You were chosen. You were never too different. You were divinely designed. Your childhood was not a mistake. It was a map, a sacred blueprint pointing to your destiny, and now it's time to follow it. Final words, the return of the chosen. If this message found you, it's not by chance, it's because your soul remembers, because the pain, the loneliness, the deep intuition. It was all preparation. Your childhood held clues. You were chosen from birth, and everything you've endured has led to this very moment. You're no longer just a survivor. You are an awakened being. So walk your path with pride. Speak your truth. With power, shine your light without apology, because the world needs what only you can give. You are not ordinary. You are divinely extraordinary, and your childhood was the first whisper of your soul's eternal promise.